Why do the same thoughts you ignore all day suddenly feel impossible to escape at night? During the day, your attention is pulled in 100 different directions. Messages, tasks, conversations, noise. But at night, when everything slows down and the distractions fade, those thoughts finally get room to speak. Not because they're new, but because you're quiet enough to hear them. You lie down. The lights are off. Your phone rests face down on the table. Your body is tired, heavy, ready to sleep. And then, without warning, your mind turns on. Thoughts line up. Conversations replay themselves. Small mistakes feel bigger. The future feels closer than it did all day. You're exhausted, yet completely awake. If this is familiar, you're not alone. And no, it doesn't mean you're bad at resting. Many people believe that overthinking at night is a flaw, that it's a lack of discipline or an inability to let go. Some even feel ashamed of it, wondering why they can't do something as simple as falling asleep. But this behavior isn't random, and it isn't weakness. For a lot of people, the problem isn't that they think too much. It's that nighttime is the first moment their mind is finally allowed to speak. During the day, your attention is constantly being pulled outward. Work, conversations, responsibilities, notifications, movement. Your mind stays busy reacting, adjusting, responding. But at night, all of that fades. The noise drops. The movement slows. And when the outside world goes quiet, your inner world steps forward. The thoughts that appear at night didn't suddenly form. They were there all along. They just didn't have space. When stimulation decreases, the brain doesn't immediately relax. Instead, it shifts into a different mode, one that reviews, connects, and processes. It's like walking into a quiet room after a loud day and suddenly hearing every small sound. Your mind starts scanning unfinished moments, unresolved emotions, questions that were postponed because there was no time to feel them earlier. From a psychological perspective, this has a lot to do with how the nervous system slows down. As your body begins to relax, your mind gains access to stored information. Memories, associations, and emotions become more available because there are fewer distractions competing for attention. Researchers often describe this as the brain's tendency to seek closure when given stillness. Not because something is wrong, but because the mind naturally tries to make sense of experience when it finally has the space to do so. But there's another layer beneath the surface. For many people, overthinking at night is also about control. During the day, life is unpredictable. Plans change, expectations shift, outcomes are uncertain. At night, thinking can feel like a quiet attempt to regain order. Your mind imagines scenarios, revisits decisions, analyzes outcomes, not to punish you, but to protect you. It's a way of saying, if I think this through now, maybe I'll be safer tomorrow. Even when it keeps you awake, the intention behind it is often survival, not self-sabotage. Here's something rarely mentioned.
People who tend to overthink before sleep are often deep processors. They notice patterns others overlook. They reflect instead of reacting. Their minds don't skim life's surface, they move underneath it. That depth can be tiring, but it's also where creativity lives. Insight often appears not in loud spaces, but in quiet ones. Many ideas, realizations, and breakthroughs are born during late-night thought spirals when the world finally slows enough to listen. Staying awake with your thoughts isn't doing nothing. It's active inner work, even if it doesn't always feel productive. Still, there's an important distinction to make. Overthinking can be healthy when it leads to understanding, when it helps you process experiences, recognize patterns, or gain clarity. But when the same thoughts loop endlessly without resolution or relief, sleep becomes impossible and exhaustion builds quietly. If your nights are filled with constant mental replay, dread, or heaviness, it may not be about thinking too much, but about carrying emotional weight that hasn't had a place to release. Nighttime overthinking becomes a signal, Not that your mind is broken, but that something inside you needs care, attention, or rest that hasn't yet arrived. So here's a question worth sitting with. When your thoughts race at night, are they trying to solve something, or are they asking you to slow down in a way your day never allowed? There's no right answer, but noticing the difference matters. If this describes you, you're not broken. This experience has a name many psychologists use: nocturnal rumination. It's the mind's tendency to process deeply once external demands disappear. It's common, it's human, and it says more about your awareness than your weakness. If your mind gets louder after midnight, it doesn't mean you're failing at rest. It means you have an inner world that wakes up when everything else goes quiet. If you find comfort in understanding how the mind behaves after dark, you're in the right place. Subscribe to Midnight Why if you're curious about the thoughts people rarely talk about, but almost everyone experiences when the lights go out. The next video explores why certain memories surface only at night, and why some questions wait until you're alone to be asked. Stay curious.